Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be making a tutorial on how to use Fusion 360 and how to create a die with it, a six-sided die, just like we did with Tinkercad. So this is kind of almost the same thing, except Tinkercad's a little bit more basic. So let's get into it. Alright, so when you open it up, it automatically starts a new design. So an untitled design. So first we got to make a square. In order to do that, we're going to create a sketch by pressing this button here. This will show up. This will determine what plane you want your square to start off with. We're going to choose the bottom one. Next, we're going to do a rectangle, create a rectangle. All squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. So, yeah, that's the purpose behind that. So we want a 20. Everything in here is going to be in millimeters again. So we're going to do 20. And then you can hit tab to rotate between the two different things. And these, once you type in a number, it'll have that locked symbol on it, that yellow lock symbol right next to it, and then it won't change. You can flip it over the dimensions of the center of one of the axis that you clicked, and then once you got both your things done, you left click and it becomes a square. That's the easy thing. Now that we've done that, you've created a basic shape in 2 dimensions. So we're going to finish with this sketch. Now that it's in 2 dimensions, we need to make it 3D. So what you want to do is you want to click on the square that you've created, and then you want to go up here and hit Extrude. Now this is going to turn your 2-dimensional object into 3 dimensions. Normally this is set at every time you pull up one, it's 5 millimeters. Since we're doing a cube, we want it 20 millimeters. Same as the width and length. Once that's there, once you got it to the right setting or distance measurement, press enter. And there you go, you got your cube. Now when you want to rotate around like I'm doing now, press and hold shift and then click down on the middle button of your mouse. That's usually the scroll wheel, and you can go left, right, up and down depending on what your mouse is. You can see on the top right of the screen, oh, I gotta change that. Oh, we're gonna move that right here for now. But as you can see, on the top right of the screen, there's this thing right here. It tells you what angle you're looking at the project from. Now, what we want to do is go to one of the sides, rotate to one of the sides, so you have a clear view of that one side. Next, we're going to create a sketch again, but instead of clicking on this plane thing, we're going to click on the side. Now that we've got that, we're going to create the numbers on the side. So On the top left of the screen, hit create and go down to text. Click and drag all the way across, click and drag away all across. When you're done, press on that, press on the bottom right corner. Now we don't want sample text there, so we want the letter 1. So we type 1 in there. And we want it centered from left and right, and we also want it centered from up and down. We can change this to a different font. We can choose different fonts for it. Yeah, okay. And we can choose different sizes depending on how big or small you want your letter. Just make sure it doesn't make it any larger than what's on your cube, because then it's not gonna be on your cube. That's why you want to rotate it so you can see how big it is. So we're gonna go with 15. We're gonna go with whatever that is, and we're gonna also bold it. Nah, I don't like the bold. Never mind that. When you're done, hit OK. And there, you got your sketch right there. You want to finish the sketch. Now, as you can see, it's just a sketch. It's nothing, anything else. Now we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna click on the number 1, our sketch. We're gonna hit extrude, but instead of pulling it out, we want to pull it back in. I'm gonna do 5 millimeters into it. As you can see here, it says cut, so it's going to cut into the already made 3-dimensional object that's there. When you're done, click OK, and boom, it's there. Now we got to do this for each side of the cube to number it. So we want to click on create sketch, click on another side of the cube. We're going to click on create. We're going to hit text. We're going to click the top left of the cube and then go to the bottom right of it. We're going to do 2. It keeps the font and the size. It also keeps the aligned center and for both the top, bottom, and left and right. And there, we're gonna make this really different. Okay, and then once you're done, finish sketch again. Click on the number 2. It should highlight, extrude, and see, I can't see the arrow right there, so I want to shift, middle click, and move the mouse until you can see the arrow. Then left click on the arrow and pull it down to the 5 millimeters we want. There, that's 2. Next is 3. Same thing. You make a sketch, you click on the side, you hit create, text, top left, bottom right, 3. It's gonna have the same same font and same thing as the other one, but I want to change that for each side. Finish sketch. See, okay, you see how it's like a light blue right now? And then when I hover over it, it's a dark blue. That means you're selecting it. You click it to select it completely, and then we're going to extrude it again. This one, we're going to do 5 millimeters back again. You can also type in whatever you wanted to do, -5 millimeter. Just put -5. It'll automatically change to 5 millimeters. Now, if you wanted to say you made a mistake on this, on the bottom, on the bottom left, you can see, you can hover over this bar on the bottom right here. And each one of these is a previous action that you've made on this canvas. So the last one we did was extrude, and as I hover over it, you can see what it extruded. It was a 3. I can double click on it and show how much it extruded right here. It'll pop back up. So if you ever wanted to change it, let's say instead of 5, you wanted to do -3, it's done. You can change it. Now let's go on for the next side. Create sketch. Click on the side of the cube. Create. Text. Top right, or top left, bottom right. And we're on number 4. Oh. And you know what? That's fine. We're going to leave this right there. Finish sketch. I'm going to extrude it again. 4, 5. Then shift and middle click and change it to the side of the cube that doesn't have anything. Create sketch. Click on that again. Create. Go down to text. And we're on the number 5. It works for text as well. It's just not numbers. So I'm gonna write in the letter 5. We're gonna change it to Arial Black. Nope, I don't like that one. Okay. Next, we're gonna highlight it and see how everything that was done with that action on that sketch right now is highlighted. It's not just one letter, it's the whole thing. So if you wanted to do separate letters at separate different things, you'd have to create a different action in each sketch. I'll show you that with letter 6. Number 6, sorry. We're going to extrude. Okay, so finish this. Click on that. We're going to extrude. We're going to go -5. And we're going to hit enter. F5V. Alright, so last one is going to be 6. So, this one we're going to do individual letters. So every time you would want to have a different letter at a different depth, you'd have to create another letter for it. You can't enter out of this one, so there. You guys gotta hit OK. And every time you want to add a new element, you have to hit create, go to text, and these things will snap to the borders of the other one. And so it kind of looks a little weird. And you can kind of adjust them. Okay. Finish sketch. Okay, so it looks a bit off, but if you wanted to get the right angles, you'd take the time, and okay, so let's go back into the sketch right now and fix the X, because it's a little off. So double click on the bottom left. You see it has a sketch. We can do that. Double click and it throws us back into the sketch. So the only way to change this is just delete it. Oh man, okay. So highlight it and just hit the delete button. Let's try that again. Alright. So click on that. See that it's highlighted? And hit the delete key on your keyboard. There you go. Alright, so now I want to create text. Bring it down here. Bring it right here. Hit X. Okay. Alright. You know what? I want to teach you a trick when you do this and you want to center everything. So first we need to create a line. Now, when you go across a ledge, it'll snap to the midpoint of whatever line you have. When that happens, a triangle will appear. Click on it, and then you can go to your other edge and you see how it has a triangle and a little square? The little square means it's a right angle to the other line. The triangle means it was in the center of that line. Alright, so you also want to do one that's down. Control. Let's do there. And we made another line that's right in the center. Okay. So the eye is going to be there. Okay, so that one. And we want to create a midpoint on this line. No. Okay. I don't think it works with, will it? This is the problem with doing things live. Nope. Okay. So you can't do a midpoint on a letter text. But that's fine. You can just approximate where it's supposed to be on that. Oh. There we go. Now I can finish the sketch. Now you see that okay, so let's do each letter with a different depth. Extrude, we're going to go -3. Okay, and now see, what I want to bring up, the other thing is sketches will disappear once something's been used on it once. In order to go back to it, you got to go to the top right, click sketches, and then click on, you see how these kind of have like an eyeball thing? But they're faded out. You got to turn it back on. So that's there. Next one, click on the eye, go to extrude. This one I want -10. Because the sketch is over it, you can't see its extrusion yet. We're going to turn that off in a second. Now we're going to click on the X, we're going to hit extrude, and we're going to hit -6. Alright, so now that that's all done, in order to see our work and get rid of the sketch on top of it, just click on the little eye, and there it is. And there we got our 6-sided die. Now, once you have your little thing, you might want to save it. So, you go to the top left, you hit the disk icon, the save icon. You save it as, we're going to save it as dice, and just hit save. Now you got your dice, version 0, version, or V1 is how many times you saved it. So if I, let's say, make an alteration to the die, let's make this side taller. It'll start out with a star saying it's not saved. Once you save it, again, it'll pop up with this symbol. Okay. Top left, save. You can also hit Control S to save an item. And you can leave a description of the version, but I just hit OK usually most of the time. There's a check mark, and then it changes to version 2 on the up here. So change it back. You can hit Control Z, or you got these undo buttons at the top left. Then you save it again. You hit OK. Watch the top. It has a check mark. Then it's going to change to version 3. Version 3 right there. V3. This means while you keep saving your work, if you ever want to go back to previous version, if you feel like you screwed up way too much, you can literally load a save from before. I also recommend hitting the save, starting a save function right as soon as you work, because sometimes Fusion 360 does have errors, and it will shut down on you randomly. If you're doing something really complicated, because it's the usage of RAM and the usage of your graphics card, it taxes a lot on your machine, and it'll sometimes overdo it and have to shut down. So now that we've got our die, we got it saved, we can load this back up at any time to change it. But let's go and let's export it so we can 3D print this. Okay, so in order to do this, the top left of your computer, click on File, then you go Export, click on the Export button. Right now, by default, it's going to save it as a Fusion 360 file. This is something that a lot of that no 3D printer could ever pull out and make into a real object right now. So we want to click on the file type, and we want to scroll down until we see .stl files. Click on that one. You can change the location. The default is downloads, and the name, if you want to change the name of your exported thing, right now it's going to say the same thing as your save file, dice, and then whatever V3, since it's version 3. So that way, if you have more than one of these exported, and you printed one out and that didn't work out too well, and you export another one with some changes to it, and you don't remember to change the name of it, it'll show you which version you have on there. So I kind of like that function right there. So we're going to export this, and then it's going to give you the name of whatever you're exporting and the status. And it's going to take a minute because all of these calculations are done on their server. And by there I mean Autodesk, the company's server. Now, while this is loading, I want to talk about a few things. Fusion 360 is very user-friendly. As you can see, we only took about maybe 25 minutes to create that die, but that was because I was trying to explain everything. Normally I could do this in about maybe 5 minutes, give or take, on this design. So this thing's kind of easy to use once you get the hang of it. It also has a lot more flexibility to it. Like Tinkercad, you have to put in the letters one at a time. This one you can type out whole words at the same time, unless you wanted to do different depths or something for that. But generally, you want the same depth normally all the time. So you would do that. You can do it all at once. It's a lot faster. It's a lot speedier. But you got to know what you're doing. Alright, so this is going to take about maybe a couple minutes to do. Fusion 360 is something I like better because Fusion 360 is... Let's put that away for a second. Fusion 360, you can see your three-dimensional object. In certain programs like AutoCAD, it's very difficult to actually see what you're creating. This is more of kind of a blend of the art format and also more of a functionality for three-dimensional design on objects. The reason I say on objects is because people design in AutoCAD for like houses, closets, stuff like that, and that's okay for them because it has different parts. But this one, if you want to just do objects, not a whole room, this is probably the program for you. See what else we have. I didn't want to go too in depth for this first play, so I want to leave some of the other features like freeform, and all this other creation stuff for a different time. So right now you know how to do different blocks. If you wanted to create another block on top of this, you could. Let's do that real quick. So let's do a cylinder. So okay, so to find the center of an object, you just move your cursor around until you can find a square. You see how that square is right there? That's the center of that object. Now, the dimensions for this, remember the circles are diameter when you're doing this. So we're going to do it from that tip to that tip. Hit finish. Another way to extrude is you just press the E on your keyboard. Now when you're extruding things with multiple layers on it, like this, you got the circle, you got the square, and you got the number 2. So you have to physically select things you want to extrude. So you can do that. Click on the square, and and the circle, and both of them will elevate, and the number 2 cutout will still be there. Or if you don't want that and you just want the circle there, you can just do that. Remember, for 3D design though, you want to have at least 2 or 3 millimeters attaching different objects if they overlapping objects. Alright, and so with that little tidbit of knowledge in there, let's get back to the dice design. So the status is complete. We can show it in the File Explorer. We're gonna double click on it, and we're gonna look at Windows cheesy 3-dimensional object viewer. And as you can see right here, it's what we've just created. So this is an STL file of your die. Now you can load this into whatever program you use for 3D printing, and that'll be what's gonna pop out of your printer. So with that, with the theory done, and basically showing you how to download everything, I believe that this is the end of the tutorial. Kind of easy, but at the same time you got to get used to what you're doing. So keep trying new things, experiment, most of all have fun with it. Alright, see you guys later. Bye.